Welcome, fellow freaks, geeks, and nostalgic peeps, to my channel, Simon Slashers, where, we talk about everything from 80s and 90s nostalgia to horror movies and horror books, but plenty of stuff in between. And today's video, it is yet another book-themed video, but it's one that I'm super excited for. It's my September TBR, and I'll give you a little sneak peek because it's going to be full of carnival horror books, clown horror books, and weird fiction. So stay right where you are. I'm going to go to this short intro, and when we come back, I will get into the flippin' books. Welcome back, guys! It's no coincidence that I'm wearing my Pennywise, the Tim Curry version shirt, because we're talking about carnivals today. We're talking about clowns. If you missed it, I did talk about all of the carnival, clown, amusement park, and circus books that I own in my collection. I will link that video down below in case you missed it. However, today's video, don't worry, we're not going over the same old books that I just went over in that video if you did see it. I have a lot of books on my TBR that are books that I don't own, unfortunately. It is what it is, but I'm still excited to read these books and to talk about them with you. So first, let's go over my book club book and my Richard Lehman read-along book, because that's always the first thing I like to go over. So my book club is the Midnight Book Society, and we're not having a live show for September, but we actually have two different books. You could choose to read either book or both. It doesn't matter, but I have two choices because one's rather long, the other's a little shorter, but they're both weird. So, if you're looking for books to read for the week of Weird, which is a readathon coming up soon in September, starting on the 15th, hosted by my friend Crystal over the channel Fiber Artsy and Jason from Jason's Weird Reads, well, both of these books would really fit in nicely with the week of Weird, so they could be options for you if you're looking for weird reads. So check out the Discord link below if you do want to join in for either book club book or both of the club books for the month of September. It's up to you if you want to read one or both. And the first one is Lacuna's Point by Tim Meyer, and Katrina Brown and also Lexi from Books with Lexi will be joining me on the Discord to chat about their thoughts as they read along. So unfortunately no live show, but they will be sharing their thoughts on the Discord about Lacuna's Point by Tim Meyer. This one definitely seems like it has, or it could have, cosmic vibes. I'm excited. The description says,
3 years ago, Ellie Bauer's daughter went missing somewhere in the heart of Virginia. Today, Ellie receives a mysterious text message that leads her to believe her daughter might still be alive. She follows this rabbit hole to the coastal town of Lacuna's Point, but there's something wrong with that place. Dun, dun, dun.
The other book, again, in honor of Week of Weird, is The Hike by Drew McCary, and this says,
our main character, Ben, is taking a hike in the woods, and before long, he figures out that the path he has chosen cannot be given up easily. With no choice but to move forward, Ben finds himself falling deeper and deeper into a world of man-eating giants, bizarre demons, and colossal insects.
Yes! And I am hosting a Richard Lehman read-along for the year, along with my friend Christine over at Secrets Read. Our pick for Flippin' September is Dark Mountain, and I heard it's bad. I heard there's naked women doing handstands, and it's like totally ridiculous. Like, nobody would behave that way. Anyway, this does have an audiobook. If you are trying to read along and chat on the Discord about this book, it's separate from my book club, so you don't have to do all of the things. You can pick and choose and do however much you want. But yes, Richard Lehman books, we've been doing a read along. That's on my Discord. Same Discord as the book club linked below. Dark Mountain is the pick, but I don't know, tread lightly, beware. I don't know if it'll be for most people, but we will see. Alright, now on to the official clown and carnival reads. The reason I decided to read a lot of clown and carnival horror in September is because I'm hosting a week-long Patreon-only readathon, and that is taking place right now. I'm actually filming this in September, so I've already actually read some books that I can tell you about. The first book that I at the last minute added to my TBR was Halloween-Land by Kevin J. Kennedy. It's described as a coming-of-age book, but also, obviously, it's got carnival vibes because it takes place at Halloween-Land, a kind of Halloween-themed carnival. However, sadly, this was just a 3-star read for me. The writing left a little bit to be desired. It was very, very simplistic. However, it was still okay. Next up, an amusement park themed book, and that is Dreamwoods by Patrick Lacey. I have read at least 2 other books by Patrick Lacey, and I love them both. And I actually am in the middle of Dreamwoods as we speak, and this one is no different. I am absolutely loving it. There is this dark and sinister Dreamwoods amusement park, but people who remember it from their past remember it just in a loving way, not in a creepy way, even though there had been disasters taking place at this park in the past. No one seems to remember that. They only remember the good memories. So kind of like looking at the past with rose-colored glasses, that kind of thing. So this family decides to take a trip. The husband wants to try to relive the best parts of his childhood when he visited back then, but things are not what they seem, and yeah, it's a lot more dark and sinister than he thinks. Another book that I'm currently in the middle of is the second book in the Pilo Family Circus duology of books, and that is called The Pilo Traveling Show, and I am loving this one too. It's a lot like the first one, so if you've already read the first one, you should totally continue on with the story. Same vibes, same great writing, same wacky characters, same like off-color humor. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, and quickly some other clown and carnival books I hope to get to before the Week of Weird starts later in September. We've got the Cotton Candy Massacre Part Toots. I have read the first book. This is the second in the series, and I am so stoked to get to it because I loved the first book. It was a 5-star. I'm anticipating the second book could be a 5-star for me as well. We'll see, fingers crossed. Next up, a book that's been on 2 other TBRs that were carnival themed, and that is Freezer Burn by Joe R. Lansdale. Heard a lot of good things about this book, and it's time I get to it, and I'm making a vow that it will be for this year. I will get to it.
Bill has no job, no money, and no mother. His mother was dead and kind of freeze-dried in her bedroom. She doesn't smell as bad as she used to, but her welfare checks are piling up, and Bill doesn't feel smart enough to forge her signature. So he decides to rob a firecracker stand across the highway from his house for cash, but the heist goes horribly wrong, and Bill winds up on the run with a freak show. Could it be that Bill's loser days are over? Nope.
So I have no idea, but this sounds really intriguing, and I can't wait to actually, hopefully, get to it this time. Next, a quick little short Kindle book. It is I Found a Circus Tent in the Woods Behind My House. I have lots of friends who read this, said it was short, quick, weird, and they really enjoyed the story. And it's only about 106 pages long, a little novella.
Dave and his 4-year-old Jacob find a circus tent in the woods behind their house. A strange voice invites them through the dark doorway.
Next, I'd like to get to Golden Land Past Dark by Chandler Clang Smith.
A hostile stranger is hunting Dr. Show's ramshackle traveling circus across 1960s America. The troup's unraveling hopes fall on their latest and most promising recruit, a 16-year-old stunted hunchback devoted obsessively to perfecting the surreal clown performances that come to him in his dreams. But as they travel through a landscape of abandoned amusement parks and rural ghost towns, Warren's bizarre past starts to pursue him as well.
Quickly, some other books I hope to get to. I'm not going to go into the synopses, just know that it matches the theme I'm going for, and maybe I'll put these books on your radar. You can look them up if they interest you at all. First up, Clown in the Dark by Ian Forty. I have read a book by Ian Forty, and it was so fun. It was called Werecage, all about like a werewolf Nicolas Cage. It was hilarious. It was so zany, such a good time. So I'm excited to read more from Ian Forty. I also have the graphic novel Dark Ride on my list because it was gifted to me by my friend Andrew over at the channel. It came from the page. Check out his channel. And thank you so much, Andrew. I cannot wait to read this. It's kind of like a horror-themed amusement park type of story. Next up, a book I just found on KU that I'm already 50% into and loving. Montague's Carnival of Delights and Terror by Jamie Stewart. And this, it's described as an homage to, quote, tombstone books of the 70s and 80s. So, you know, kind of chunky books like It and Summer of Night by Dan Simmons. Those kind of chunkier books with lots of character building and world building. So I'm loving it so far. Again, it's It is, just like I described, you're getting to know the characters, it's taking its time, but there are creepy things going down at this carnival and they're still trying to figure it out. Last but not least, I finally hope to get to Taste Like Candy 2 by Ivy Tholen. Taste Like Candy 1 is one of my favorite books of all time, so I'm really hoping, and I'm also enthusiastic, that I will love the second book. Alright, and let's just quickly go over a few weird books that I am planning to read for the week of Weird, which again, as I said, starts on September 15th. So I've got a couple of books picked out for that. By the Light of Dead Stars by Andrew Van Wey, same author of Head Like a Hole, which I read last year and freaking loved. It was one of my favorite reads of the entire year last year, so I can't wait to read more. It definitely seems like it's got cosmic elements to it, so yes. That's all I really need to know. Sign me up. Next up, we've got Katrina over at Katrina Brown, her book club book, and her book club is called the Reaper Book Club. Her September book club pick is House of Rot by Danger Slater, and all I know is that it's weird. It's got mushrooms and a creepy looking face on the cover, so it will work for the week of Weird, and it's short, and I don't need to know anything else. Support Katrina's book club, and if you're interested, join us, and read it as well. Next up, the Week of Weird actually has an official group read, and it's a short, quick story. I think it's only like 20-something pages. So that story is The Weirdest World by R.A. Lafferty, and apparently this is available as an ebook on Everand, and there's a few other places that you can find it as well. So those are my 3 main non-book club weird books that I want to get to. So a total of 5 weird books, the rest are clown and carnival themed, and 1 Richard Lehman. So I think it's a pretty good mix overall. I did forget 1 clown book that I just heard about from my friend Travis, who's on my Patreon. He said that this was zany and wild, and it's another novella. It's also on KU, and I'm going to try to squeeze it in. It's a clown book, and it is called Mr. Jacobs versus the Demonic Clowns from the Great Beyond. And that's just a great title, number 1. Number 2, Demonic Clowns. As I've been saying already, sign me up. This whole month is freaking full of things that I love and enjoy, like weird books, clown books, carnival books. So it's kind of a great reading month already, even though it's just begun, because I was kind of in a mini slump for August. I was over summer reading, and now I can switch gears and kind of switch over to different kind of reading that I really love, and also reading that reminds me of fall time, especially when it comes to clown and carnival books. And I did want to remind everyone that my Readathon, Watchathon, Activity-a-thon, Halloween-a-thon kicks off on September 22nd, the official first day of fall. You do not have to start your reads that day. A lot of people like to start clean. They like to start on the first of a month when they're starting new reads or a Readathon type of thing. But I'm going to be starting my watches on September 22nd. I don't know about my reads yet. If I decide not to start my Halloween-a-thon reads, then I'll just keep reading carnival books and just play my little game board, because if you don't know what Halloween-a-thon is, I'll link the announcement video down below where I tell you all the options. You've got bingo board options, game board options, and you've got plenty of customization opportunities to make it what you want. You can just read, you could just watch, you could do both things. You could also do activities and throw that in there too. So really, it's very, very flexible, very easy to be able to do what you want. And what I'm going to do for sure is be watching movies with the use of my Halloween-a-thon prompts and board that I've created starting on September 22nd. So stay tuned, because we will be having kickoff sprints, and we'll have more sprints on October 1st, and also throughout all of the end of September and all through October. So there's plenty of fun to be had no matter when you want to start with Halloween-a-thon, and I'm so stoked and excited. Also excited, like I said, for Week of Weird and for all my carnival reads. So if you want to participate in Week of Weird, check out Crystal and Jason's announcement videos down below. I will link both of them. They are fantastic people. Please check out their channels. Same thing with Katrina. Please check out her channel over at Katrina Brown. Don't forget my Year of Layman co-host, and that would be Christine from Secrets Read. Please follow all my friends. I would truly appreciate it. Love to support other booktubers and creators, because it's a passion of mine to lift other people up. I love doing that. Alright guys, but for this time, those are all the books I'm reading, and that is it for me. What books do you think I should read first? Which ones do you think I should make a priority off of my list? Have you read any of them? Let me know anything down below. But till next time, you know what you can do. Keep on killing it. Bye guys!